to Shining Sea and back. My husband and I both have a master's degree. I don't know how to explain how that happened, but we landed here in Windsor and fell in love with the community. So much so that we decided to stay here and raise our 4 children. And they've had wonderful experiences. 5 years ago, I wrote The History of Windsor the Musical. Many of you saw that. Hundreds of people came. And it was focusing on families, and it took the town of Windsor from 1850 to present through song and dance. And it started with Pomo families. And when I searched and researched and tried to find as many Native families as I could in Windsor to come and be a part of that scene, because every scene we did that honored Windsor, we took as many of the old-timers. Vic Posey danced in it. If you didn't see that, you totally missed it. Now you'll never see it again. The Bertolis were there for the VFW. Yes, thank you. It was wonderful. I couldn't get any native Windsor natives to come and be a part of it. Some of them were suspicious, some of them were angry, and I was like, come on, guys, you were the first, you need to be in this. I got Joe Salinas to come and bring all of his native dancers, and he came. And it made me so happy because I really wanted to make that connection and welcome that culture and not have the suspicions and the nonsense. And I'm grateful that he stepped out and brought all of his kids and the adults that were with him and danced in our show. I am really hoping that this tribe that's now coming into Windsor, even though they're in, I don't understand how they're in San Pablo, the other place, and here too. I don't know if they're San Pablo. Whatever, they're coming here now. It's going to be a part of our history. And we're doing that show again at Windsor Middle School in November. I hope whoever's here from the tribe will come and read the narration that we wrote to get a real native to come and speak. But the thing that's kind of making all this trouble, I think, is the things in the dark. I just have a question, and I don't want you to be stressed or anything, but how could you say the neighbors are fine with it when you never talk to a neighbor? What was going on in your mind? Because I think that's what we're reacting to. Not that they're trying to be here, but something weird's going on. And
just to
things
be
aren't
clear, I never said the neighbors were fine. Those were not my words.
Okay.
I said something else, and as I said, I would say it differently today because the opposition has organized and we have a different set of facts, but I never said that the neighbors were fine.
The fact that this sweet lady couldn't even get a call back till lots of people rose up, those are the kind of things that bother me. That's what's kind of making it look bad. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Is anyone else getting up to speak? I'm just trying to check, because I want to go back to a couple of questions. But all right, this gentleman here.
Hello, my name is Jory Obrena, and I just want to make a quick comment. I heard so many people very worried about another casino, and I don't really see another casino sustainable in Sonoma County. On the other hand, I believe that tribe has the right to acquire land like any other tribe, and I believe they could really be good neighbors. I see more money for the schools, more money for the fire department. In Mexico, my mom says all the time that si del cielo te caen limones, aprende a hacer limonada, which it means that if limes fell from the sky, you should learn how to make lemonade. And that's what I feel here. I see this as an opportunity, and I really see more money for the county, and I really think it could be really good for the town of Windsor.
Thank you. Gentleman in the middle.
Yeah, my name is Frank Obtance. I have lived here for 20 years in Windsor with my wife, and we really love it here. And I want to say we definitely support Congressman Huffman's Bill 2538. We appreciate the support we're getting from James Gore, our supervisor, and all the work that the town council has in trying to make the best of this situation and get as much for Windsor that'll be good for Windsor. And that's what I want to see. The one thing I didn't know until tonight was that 22-year time limit in the memorandum of agreement. I think that needs to change. That has to change, that it goes away altogether. But otherwise, I really support what everybody's doing. I appreciate everybody being here and listening to all these people. I never expected to see so many people here at one time. And the other thing, though, is I did hear we need more openness. We need more information coming from the town council, coming from our county supervisors, and also from Congressman Huffman. I really appreciate you coming here. But overall, I'm looking forward to being neighbors with the Lytton Pomo Indians. I think they're great people. Thank you.
Thank you. Gentleman here.
Hi, I'm Mark Homchick. I've been in Windsor just a short 4 years. I do appreciate everybody coming here and having a forum now. I wish this would have happened a long time ago. I had some very distinct opinions when I came in tonight, and I must say I was pleased with what Linda had to say. I'm very, very disappointed in the town council that we were not engaged in the conversation with us for a long time, because a lot of the ideas Linda had might have come up, and we might have been able to share those. And the Lytton group might have been amenable to some of that. But now we'll never know, because you kept us in the dark. And I'm very disappointed in that. And I will work harder in the next election than I did this time.
Next, come on. Go ahead. Okay.
My name is,
Is anyone else planning to get?
we raised our hand before.
Yeah, no, I know. You guys are fair. Yeah, you just been.
My name's Dave Gonzalez. I live on Wellington Circle here in Windsor. You can remove my name from those who have opposed the...
Yeah, go closer.
You can remove... I'm Dave Gonzalez, live here in Windsor on Wellington Circle, spoke at the last thing. You can remove my name from those who oppose the bill. I am, to be honest with you, deeply disappointed in you in that you've stated tonight that you have the second most number of tribes in the nation, and that you did not take more affirmative action. It seems yours has been very reactive in dealing with the community and helping us to work together, rather than a situation where, in my opinion, things have seemed to your constituents, or at least the people who live here in Windsor, to come through the back door rather than the front door. My experiences where things are done through the front door, however big, however problematic, they tend to work out better. I commend you for the effort. If in what you say is true, this will go through anyway. I commend you for your effort through your legislation to make it better for everybody. In your legislation, you talk about no gaming. Tonight, I'm hearing no casino. When I read the sections about no gaming, it includes no card games, no bingo, that type of a thing. I want to be very clear in what no gaming means. You've made a promise that it will be crystal clear, in perpetuity, however you say that. That I appreciate. I will ask one thing. It's going to sound kind of weird, and forgive me. I was debating whether I should say it or not. But in there's a diversity of things. I do not know laws. I am not an attorney. One of the things that I personally am very opposed to is the growing of marijuana and these type of things, particularly because I have youth here. I would like some assurance that a marijuana crop, because I do not know laws, I do not know this stuff, that type of a thing is just not done as an alternative. I have no interest in my children, my grandchildren, my great-granddaughter walking 2 blocks to go to a bingo, to a card game, to a casino, or having that in there. I have no desire to have them have exposure to substances that I'm from the colonies in Mexico, in Chihuahua, where I have seen marijuana do terrible things to people. And I know there's difference of opinion, but I have no desire to say you're not subject to laws and therefore you grow this and you sell it, or where it's easily accessible. I welcome people. I think that we're all people of our Heavenly Father. We need to respect each other. And when we do things up front, and when we're open, and when we're honest, and we have discussions like this, it's wonderful. I commend you, Congressman. If this is true that you've called all the people here, this was one of my big concerns last time, of having everybody in the same room. and I commend you for doing that. Thank you.
Thank you. Gentleman in the middle.
My name's Rich Carnation. Deborah and Sam, it's been a long time. I've been here in Windsor for about 24 years. I was on the General Plan Advisory Committee 20 years ago. I thank you all for being here. I would like to apologize to you all. Some of you have had people insinuate, and some of them have flat out said things, impugning your character as far as money, different things, bribes, all that stuff. This is not our town. We are a great town. We have wonderful people here. There have been, I guess there's 1,000 people that maybe signed a petition. That represents about 5% of the people in this town. We had a back-to-school night. There's a lot of parents that want to be here. They, like me, are interested in the future of this town for our kids. I have 5. 4 of them have gone through the school system so far. I have 1 left that's going to go into high school next year. She would like to swim in her own pool in our town. And I know a lot of other folks do too. That young man that was speaking earlier today, the 8th grader, very articulate, very smart. I'm the wrestling coach at the high school. I'm going to get him. Smart kids make great wrestlers.
Kids are great wrestlers.
But we are a wonderful town. I'm glad you guys are here. I'm glad you're listening. I guess the bottom line is this. I'm kind of, I believe you guys have been proactive. I believe you guys have looked ahead. The bill is, as I understand it, if Senator Barrasso's bill, you can answer this after, if it goes through, approximately 60 days after that, the tribe has their land. You can answer that later. That's my understanding. So really, we're talking about, in my understanding, we're either going to have, the town's going to either provide wastewater services to the tribe, and they're going to give us a pool, or they're going to take that money and they're going to build their own wastewater treatment plant. That really is kind of the only route that the tribe has to go. I like the fact that the tribe has come along and have worked with a lot of different people. I don't take it as a bribe. I take it as something where they're saying, hey, we want to be good neighbors. We want to work together. I appreciate the fact they do it. I really don't appreciate some of the folks insinuating that there's bad will and dirty, I don't know how to describe it. And you guys sitting there and taking it, I commend you. I don't think I would be so kind if somebody said some of the things that I've heard tonight. Anyhow, again, I appreciate you guys being here. Town, council, I hope you guys continue to support the bill. It gives us certainty that there will be no gaming in Windsor for a long time to come. Thank you.
Just real quick.
So everybody who spoke gets to speak again?
Oh, no, just real quick.
right.
I just need to.
You promised me that.
I promise it'll be quick.
Okay.
I need you guys to know that my words were turned on what I said. I have no ill will for the Indians. My 3 daughters are part Indian. It's not that. And I know they worked hard in the military. I know they're good people. What I was talking about was the law, all law for one people. A sovereign nation is not a law when when one person has a decision to make and somebody else has no say in that matter. That's all I was talking about. So I really don't appreciate my words getting turned around on me.
All right, thanks for the clarification. While we're, hang on. While we're, I'm going to probably give the mayor an opportunity and council members kind of for a last comment if they wish. But let me squeeze in a couple more of these questions. There are going to be some questions we're not going to be able to get answered, in part because there's a lot of them, and in part because I have to kind of figure a couple of them out. But I think these ones we can. How many homelands can one tribe have, and will San Pablo homeland be relinquished in favor of Sonoma County homeland? And I suspect, Larry, that may be a question to you as the tribal attorney.
That sounds like a question for me.
Yeah, it does.
Quite clearly, you don't understand what has happened in San Pablo. What happened there is Congressman Miller introduced legislation that allowed that land to be taken into trust on behalf of the tribe. In his very own testimony, he testified that there was no intent to this to be the homeland for the tribe. And I noticed on the website you also talked about the letter from Kamala Harris. That letter's been superseded by the governor himself, who sent a letter 3 months ago saying very clearly he supports the legislation to create a homeland in Sonoma County. That's the position of the state, not Kamala Harris. And if you look at that letter, she didn't even sign that letter. So it's important to correct the factual inaccuracies. And I just want to make that clear, that San Pablo was something that was important for Congressman Miller and important for the tribe. It was never intended to be the homeland.
Okay.
Can we hear the same answer from Bruce Goldstein, who might provide a different legal perspective? Are there very many tribes that have two separate reservations in two separate counties? I think that's what the question was getting at.
That was the question.
Well, the question, I think that oftentimes homeland and reservation are used interchangeably, but I understand that legally they're different things. And I'm guessing that's what the questioner was getting at. I think that's one problem with writing it down. The questioner can't necessarily explain themselves.
I think that with respect to the Lytton tribe, that Mr. Sidham gave the most accurate response. There are tribes that have properties in multiple counties that are part of their reservation. In the Southwest, there are tribes that have reservations that span many counties. So I think with respect to the Lytton tribe, that land was taken into trust for the purposes of doing a casino for economic development, the 10 acres was not intended as a homeland.
Okay, this is kind of a political one, so I suspect it's for you, Congressman. Is there a chance of Barbara Boxer and stripping the bill of the no casino provisions to the last minute as she did in Rohnert Park?
That's a fair question, because there is some precedent for bills changing as they move through the process. And it's one reason why, as this moves forward, if it moves out of the House, I'd want to work very closely with both Senator Boxer and Senator Feinstein to defend the integrity of what it is. But it's a very fair question.
I'm not sure anyone can answer this because the school district's not here, but it says last year the school district took $1 million in golf carts. To not oppose the tribe, what does the tribe plan to give the school district as the plan grows to greater proportions? I'm not quite sure.
I guess I'll try that one again. In terms of what we did is we looked at the school district and looked at what developer fees would have been necessary to be paid in light of the construction for the housing, and that's what we paid. That was the agreement. That's what we would have paid under normal circumstances.
Normal residential construction.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So, well, I'm going to just do a very, very short kind of process wrap up, and then if any of you want to comment, that would be the right time. So what are we going to do with all this stuff? So Lee, who, by the way, I would like to clap for Lee. Thank you very much. And all the other unsung heroes who are back here typing and writing and taking cards and all of that and turning the little robot on and all that good stuff. So a round of applause for those guys, please. We're gonna take all this sort of written material and sort of type it up, including some of the cards that didn't get read. There's some cards up there that were just comments, not questions. There are a few questions that I couldn't quite get to, but we'll make sure all that gets written up and gets included in either with the minutes, or we'll figure it out, either with the formal minutes or as a separate document or something. We'll figure that out. But those notes from this meeting will be available to you, both the formal notes that the town's been taking and then the kind of informal stuff that we've been sort of collecting for whatever future interactions there will be. I want to thank everybody who's here. I realize a lot of you have left. You know, it's late, and appreciate you taking your time, being patient, and I really appreciate you following the rules. When you have 400 people in a room, it can get a little out of hand, and you did a wonderful job of not letting it do that. Thank you very much for doing that. I look to the mayor or council members if you want to have a last say before we adjourn.
Yeah, I just want to thank everybody for coming out. I appreciate all the comments that you've made. Okay, we take those seriously, and I just want to let you know, some gentleman up there talked about how tough it is. It is tough sitting up here when people criticize you and kick you in the teeth and you can't respond to them. It's hard. But I will tell you this: we have 5 people on this council, and we're very diverse. I can tell you that. Different opinions, different ideas. We don't always agree. We disagree, but we agree to disagree. Okay? But I will tell you this. Each one of us, whenever we make a decision, in our hearts, it is the best that we think is for Windsor. And we do that every time. And I can tell you, you have 5 good people up here that are working for your best interest all the time. And that's all I have to say.
Wait, whoa. Just have a couple clarification things, because I know that all 5 of us up here are going to get dozens and dozens of calls and emails tomorrow, and I'm sure it'll be about a few of these. The only 2 really ones that stuck out that I don't think got answered are somebody wants to address the marijuana issue of the legality and what that is, and then the other one is the fact of, I think a lot of people are going to be rallying behind Ms. Hopkins' proposal. Is that even possibly doable now that the county already has the memorandum? Or, I mean, is there any possibility that there's going to be, that's the light of day?
Yeah, 2, so yeah.
Can I start with the second? I'll start with the second one first, is one of the things that we did over the course of the past about month and a half was we had, I think, 3 or 4 different meetings with members of either Citizens for Windsor initially, and then the neighbors. And what I would propose is once again, all those meetings, none of them have ever been closed. They've always been whoever wants to come. I can get as large a room as possible at the county, and I'd facilitate a follow-up. One of the things in the last meeting that happened where the neighbors and the tribal representatives were there is actually a request from the tribe to say, put down into writing some of the stuff that are some of your ideas and submit that. And so I would imagine that maybe a good first step would be a formal process of doing that. And you're also asking for things out of the county too, and so we'd have to review that as well. But I completely commit to a fully transparent and open process to flush out what she's talking about. And I appreciate the, as we all know, it's very difficult to propose a solution. I think that's real good leadership from Linda and a lot of people, so I thank you. And I thank you also, Brad. I think you did a very good job of encapsulating a lot of the frustration, which deals with both process and some of the dispute on actually legal assumptions or legal, not just value judgments, but legal assessments. And so I think you all did a very good job. And I appreciate everybody for making time for everybody to have a say here today. I think it was very good that this wasn't just a talking to. We had the different viewpoints. So,
Any comment on the marijuana question? Anybody know the answer to that one? It's not a question I know I could give you much advice.
Well, I think Chairperson Mejia shares your concerns. We've been approached multiple times. I think there was some understanding that we had reservation land, but the tribe's position is we're not interested in that. That's not something that we would be looking forward to. As a matter of the Justice Department and all of that, there's a whole host of things that have to be fleshed out on that. That's by no means something that's going to happen quickly for any tribe. I think you're seeing that continue to be looked at on a legal basis. From my perspective, the Justice Department jumping out and doing that sort of thing was ill-timed. I'm sure the Congressman thinks the same thing, that wasn't very well done. But I can tell you from the tribe's perspective, they have no interest in getting involved in the marijuana business.
Just a little assurance on that. California is what they call a PL 280 state, which means when it comes to the criminal public safety laws, even on sovereign tribal land, tribes have to comply with California law, and that California law can be enforced by sheriffs and state authorities. So I don't think that there's any great risk of this tribe, or frankly most any tribe, abusing sovereignty on the marijuana laws. Most tribes really aren't big fans of marijuana anyway, for other reasons. But if I could just take 10 seconds, Jeff, to offer a final word from my perspective. Rich, I sure appreciate your statements. I want you to know that I've got thick skin, and the provocative things that were said occasionally tonight are just fine. I actually think this was a terrific town hall meeting, and I come away very, very impressed by the people of Windsor and the spirit of this discussion and the candor and the civility. And I think, anyway, for every somewhat angry thing, there were probably 2 or 3 expressions that were just extremely thoughtful and gracious. So I feel like this was time well spent.
All right, are we ready to adjourn, or do you guys have Sam? Final comment?
I think it's imperative that the tribe comes forward and tells us what they intend to put on the initiative. And there hasn't been any negotiations as to that. The negotiations in my mind have been, can we accept the gift in return for the voter approval of the extension? It's important that we ferret that out. But some of the things that we've talked about tonight may be in the initiative, but that's for the tribe to come forward and have that discussion. And I'll ask the council, I think we all know that we want to daylight this process, but when it's daylighted, it also has to have a forum that works. We're really fortunate to have a building like this and be able to have this kind of meeting. Thank you.
Yep.
When amendments were talked about tonight, and there were like 3 that really caught my attention, but the one I heard the most would be to Congressman Huffman, is that Windsor's draft language says no gaming in perpetuity in roughly a 4-mile radius around Windsor. So I said that before, almost all the way to Healdsburg, almost all the way to Santa Rosa, east and west. And that was what our draft language was. And then the county's MOA says no gaming in Sonoma County for 22 years. And what I heard more people ask tonight was for Congressman Huffman to add an amendment, and I would take it to as far as to say no gaming forever in Sonoma County. And I'd ask that that be an amendment that you put forth. Thank you.
All right, you ready? We're ready. Okay, hit it. Thank you, everyone.
Meeting adjourned.
Thank you very much.
Where were you? I was thinking that you'd be around.
The word deliberate and that there's a desire is pattern false. I was in those rooms. Oh, before. I was yeah.